It's such a shame that after 11 seasons, they still haven't quite figured out how to use a green screen effectively like any old teenager with a camera on YouTube. Walker's just sleep now? Walkers that have been driven to action by the fart of a field mouse don't hear this very loud padlock unlocking, perhaps because they're dreaming of a human thigh burger or something, because again, they're sleeping for some reason. You know what's sad? That this is a classic example where it's just incredibly obvious what's going to happen. Like, of course something was going to wake them all up. Also though, there's about 8 of them down there. Yes, there's a lot of dead, but I don't understand the reasoning behind not simply going over to 8 sleepy bye-bye walkers and then shanking their cheesecake heads all at once like Atchituzita II and the Deaf Girl just did in the other room. They're moving to another 8, another 8, because by the time you've done it 5 or maybe 6 times, you've cleared the entire place and have access to all their firearms, food, and everything else. Also, shockingly, the very loud padlock opening from earlier on doesn't wake any of them, only stirring one who was dreaming of skipping after a fat juicy kid, and yet Daryl's blood hits one, it stirs, and all of them wake up at the same time! These two aren't even bothering to get their knives out. Maybe to help out a little? They just stood there like a pair of plums. Like we know a dagger is essentially a weapon of mass destruction these days. We've seen it like 8,000 times before. Just go on a spree! Also, I'm obviously not going to show it, but everyone is still Robin fucking Hood. So many headshots, absolutely 0 misses. Like, bruh, people in the Olympics aren't this accurate and they haven't got zombies walking after them. I really cannot understand the logic behind standing in the middle of the room now that you have those machine guns. Like, head into a corner and delicately take them out one by one with them. You can clear the entire room in probably 20 seconds. It also makes me laugh that as soon as they get hold of a much better weapon, they suddenly start aiming at the damn torso. Suddenly they're not expert marksmen anymore, you feel me? I also feel the need to point out an inaccuracy here, because unless this building had a corner with 150 of them piled up, they've definitely cleared that room where they first dropped in. They killed like 18 with melee weapons, at least 35 to be taken out with a bow and arrow, they unloaded an entire pistol clip into them one by one, and then they've been going to town with the machine guns for ages. That room is cleared, don't be silly. Daryl here can be heard firing 3 bolts within about 7 seconds, so unless he's suddenly able to load 1 bolt every 2 seconds, that's not happening. I mean, back in season 1 he took about 10 seconds to do it because he was actually doing it on camera.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
So what happened out there?
We were on a mission.
Pause for super long dramatic effect.
You know what that noise actually is? That is God telling us to turn around.
I'm pretty sure he would have ran that past me first.
Well, that was extremely cringy, not gonna lie.
Why didn't he make any noise?
Throat slashed so deep it almost severed.
Bit weird how they're all so quiet, and yet he takes one out that's clearly not dead, I mean, you know what I mean, and suddenly everyone is okay talking in spite of there being tons of bodies there. She had to take the mask off to look at the photo, even knowing that if someone came along she'd immediately have blown her cover.
Somebody boost me up. You go up there, you're dead.
By going up onto the top of the train, he'd be dead? Does this guy think they're now climbing up ladders and stuff?
She'd be pissed if you tried. She'd want us to keep moving forward.
Apparently Maggie would be pissed if he even went back up for a quick look around because so precious is their time they can't spend, what, maybe a solid 3 to 5 minutes having a quick peep up there and at the rear of the train? Lovely way to work her out of the episode for now and give us a fake out death though.
Of you, which means it was in your brother's wallet, which means he kept the wallet on him in the apocalypse, possibly for 10+ years. And who does that? He sounds awesome.
They just nicely skipped over the getting of the armor and the replacing of it and getting back into their cell with no one asking a single question too. Like, did they lock themselves in there after getting out of the gear?
Why won't you look at him?
All that is the shell of a man who died a coward.
It's a hot take, Father.
Not to be a dick, but the term hot take was first used in 2012. It's a recently popular term, not one used prior to 2010, which is when season 1 was set to have taken place.
As she was wheezing through an open, cauterized gash in her throat where her vocal cords had been ripped out.
No word of a lie, that story she just told about the guy who tried to trick her and the deformed men who chased after her and the armless and legless pregnant walker, that's far more interesting than anything I've seen in the show itself for the past 3 seasons. I mean, why on earth not have episodes like that? That actually sounds seriously interesting. Makes me realise how boring the show is. Is it just me, or why don't they go for the glass instead of the door handle? I mean, I get it for the other doors they've opened. You couldn't all get through the glass unless you're really skinny and small. But on this one, there's a chair on the other side specifically stopping them opening the door. So why not get the window smashed and then move it out of the way first? Guns and ammo are so rare, I don't get why Daryl wouldn't use his blades here, especially with the element of surprise coming up behind them. That seems like the most stupid way to do that. Don't get me wrong, it's the coolest, but is your average person doing that who wants to blow up a grenade in the next carriage? No, they're kicking him back, tossing it in and shutting the door, not wasting a few precious seconds after pulling out the pin, shoving it into a walker's mouth. He fails to notice them at night when it's all quiet, heading to him with flashlights on, and only manages to quickly pull away his ship at the final second. Just me, or does the heavy light glow from the camera here not kind of take away some of the realism from the scene?
You this morning. Thought we had a shift together.
Sorry, something came up.
You still want to do those shifts with me?
I still don't get why they're doing sign language and speaking at the same time.
Do you want to talk about it? Talk about it.
Yes, clearly. By the way, if you're after a show that was similar to season 1 without the pointless and irritating drama and characters for the most part, definitely look up Black Summer. It's got 2 seasons, it's just raw, realism, super fast zombies who turn within seconds and don't get tired. It's unbelievably good, just no silly drama. I can't stress that enough. It's on Netflix, check it out if that's up your alley. As opposed to sneaking up behind her when she clearly doesn't know you're there. Also though, it's funny how people stop being experts at throwing weapons and stuff whenever they're up against a main character. That must be a right pain in the ass dealing with plot armor. Multi-story ninja walker! They come out of nowhere and attack you real quick. They make no sense because they make no sound. Multi-story ninja walker! Yup, makes total sense. Nothing wrong with that scene. The idea that Maggie stands even the slightest chance against this big old dude. dude's literally still breathing. That's harsh.
I thought you were a man of God.
God isn't here anymore.
In the previous season, he went off on a rant. If you catch an enemy, tear off a fingernail, do this and that. And yet here he captures one who is still very much alive for now and doesn't bother to ask a single question. Not about how many of them there are, how much food they have, and so on and so forth. Nothing. Just kills him.
This way. Come on.
It never fails to surprise me at just how often they find themselves surrounded in a pretty wide and open forest by incredibly slow-moving foes. Another prime example of someone literally holding their arm out to be bitten instead of yanking it away as would be the normal reaction. Well, okay, she really awfully and slowly bleeds it to death. What a bitch!
No.
Just,
No.
Maggie, if this plan fails,
For me, it makes no sense to have her tell the story about the pregnant walker, captured women thing, and build her as this cold-hearted pragmatist only to now have her be super caring over people clearly dragging her down. Like, she watched the young lad kill himself and get torn to pieces. She said it didn't bother her because of what she saw on the road. It helped her understand what it means to survive. And now suddenly she was desperate to rescue the woman who had been bitten in the forest, struggling against Negan who was pulling her away, and she was being eaten by like 6 walkers, and now she doesn't want to leave him behind. I don't get it. This very well-trained dude just straight up misses the very much moving shadows right in front of him. And yet, Daryl, you kinda just sat there watching it happen, didn't you? I didn't see much movement from you there, dude.
Doesn't matter. We wouldn't have worked anyway. Couldn't have been happy. Not in a world like this.
Is that you talking on your family?
Like you've never done things? Killed people? I know the things you've done, so you have no right to judge. Not at all.
See, this for me is where the writing gets a little sloppy, because she said they couldn't have been happy together in this world. He asks if that's her talking or her family. Basically saying, is that their views forced onto you? Maybe you don't really believe it, you're just saying it. Then she says, you don't get to judge, you've also done horrible things. This is me, the good and the bad. But that's not really what he was getting at. Certainly nothing about judging you. I'm not going to show it, but somehow these incredibly slow-moving walkers managed to catch out one dude in the middle of the street. Like, come on, man, they're noisy. Unless they're ninja walkers, that is. They're slow, they're not catching you in the wide open. Get out of it, you maggot!
Hello, I'm Lance Hornsby.
For some reason, when they filmed this, they couldn't find a camera that could film something that's been used frequently since like the mid-2000s, and went instead for this incredibly old-school aspect ratio. Still be treating walkers' skulls like they're jabbing an extra soft cheesecake.
Hey! You shouldn't be doing that!
Whoa!
As if this would ever actually happen.
If you don't stop, I'm gonna tell Rosita.
Shut up! You talk too much. No wonder your mom abandoned you.
Where the fuck did this little douche come from? All of a sudden he's appeared out of nowhere, all to be bully number 1 in the episode. Fuck me.
That wouldn't happen to be Rocky Road there, would it?
I work in the comms department. I could get access to the equipment, but to get official clearance would take a couple weeks. So,
back to square one.
I wish her ice cream could decide if it wanted to be partially eaten or barely touched. You can't keep flitting back and forth at your own will. You're making the actors in the show look silly.
I can help you put it back together, Judith.
Me too. We all will.
This is so lame. I swear I couldn't literally care any less about this. Go watch Black Summer on Netflix, for the love of God.
Look out!
I love how they added a knife slashing sound effect, even though it never even touched him.
I can cut your hand off, you can do it yourself. Choice is yours.
Let's be real, it's surely a little more than a hand now, isn't it? Do they think they know how fast it spreads after a bite? Because I recall Herschel getting a whole lot of leg chopped off after taking a bite fairly low down to my recollection, and they did that within minutes tops.
You need some rest.
Oh my gosh, she can read lips! She's literally been doing that this episode alone. Stuff like this really bugs me in TV shows. Like, I get it if they're sleeping, I'll give you free license to cook up whatever you want, but she stood looking out the window and you're telling me she suddenly got a visual and audio flashback of a bunch of events from the past few days? I call
bullshit.
Hey, you kill him? The two of us are gonna have a problem.
Military man should really know, you want to kill someone via this kind of a choke, you're going to at least only start to worry when he's passed out and he's still choking him out as tight. I mean, come on man, people literally do this choke in the UFC near enough once or twice a month, and the ref won't even stop the fight if the person doesn't tap until they're unconscious. And here this guy's panicking whilst he's clearly awake.
I can scout it out.
Take a squad. 3 of you. See if our friend speaks truth.
You want us to take him?
I mean, he never said that, but I'm guessing it will probably end up being a yes, oddly enough. But to be clear, she said she could scout it. Old man said go and take a squad of 3 and see if he's telling the truth. And his reaction is, you want us to take him? What are you on about? He never said that.
Wait, what happened?
Even in a panic, it's random to think he suddenly picked up sign language in his sleep. This feels like the longest way to explain the situation. I mean, I'm just throwing this out there. Walker impression, point upstairs, tap on the wall and put yourself on the other side and do the impression. I mean, that would take what? 7 seconds or less? He said to take a squad of 3, but they went in a group of 6. I mean, am I missing something or what?
No, that's my job.
Always.
Also, I gotta say, it feels inconsistent at best to have them all appear in masks pretty much entirely from when they were first introduced till Daryl was captured, and now they don't bother anymore. So, to set the record straight, they wore masks constantly, at night no less, never taking them off, but now no one is wearing them, even though at least 2 of them have them on their belts. Yes! Finally The Walking Dead does something actually good. I like that. It's different, it's weird, and it gets them a send-off.
Don't want.
You're either with us or you're not.
See, now things like this annoy me when people get also suddenly suspicious over tiny things, and like, I can actually genuinely let that go. Maybe the guy's a knobhead, so he is overly cautious of Daryl. That's fine. But then all he said is he's just trying to help, and when he goes off to search upstairs, her words to him are, you're either with us or against us. Like, I get it if he was arguing or doing anything other than being helpful, it's just poor writing.
She's with some guy who knew Michonne. They left in a hurry. Something's not right.
Stop signing when you're talking, it's really weird.
She's scared. She needs me.
And then she stops signing and just talks. It's so random, she can't do one or the other. She's talking to people who can hear fine and signs at them, and then stops signing randomly. Wouldn't this be the time to actually talk? I mean, I checked her wiki page and it doesn't state that either the actress or the character is a mute. So she couldn't just poke her finger through the hole, for example?
Never seen people this far gone. To herd us like prey.
She cannot hear you.
Piece of shit.
Kinda hard to believe that that freshly made mask is that dry on the inside. I mean, even the Whisperers were airing theirs out for ages before actually wearing them, but hers is primed and ready and dry as hell.
It's enough to show you my dorm room.
You always live in a dorm here?
Yeah, it's great.
Tommy, I'm sorry. I just don't understand why you wouldn't want the life that comes along with being a doctor here.
God, her pushing is actually irritating and sim-worthy. She already said she wouldn't mention it again, and immediately does so the very next episode, and in the show's timeline about 2 days after that conversation. It's annoying, man. The dude said he wasn't at all happy, now he's really happy, and still she's randomly pushing.
Hey, you used to love the job. I remember how you used to look when you saved someone, when you told somebody good news.
She literally answered his question during the episode I just mentioned, saying this was probably the most happy she's ever seen him, because he asked her, when was the last time you ever saw me happy? And she said, this now.
I like things the way they are. This place makes sense. There's order, a system. Okay.
Oh dear lord, she's annoying, talking like that as though she's being punished somehow, and it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Meanwhile, she's been poking at the dude multiple fucking times. Jesus.
What do you think I did? I did nothing wrong, I swear.
Stop! I'm his lawyer. He's entitled to know his rights.
She was already a 9 out of 10 on the irritation scale, and I know what they're doing obviously isn't right, but shouting, I'm his lawyer and he's entitled to know his rights. Like what? Have you read their entire bloody constitution since arriving and conspiring with your friends and taking meetings over the past 48 hours? She hasn't got a clue what the rules and laws are. They're definitely not following the US Constitution, are they?
Where do they bring these exactly? I don't know.
You know, a sin just occurred to me. If you're punishing people and you have them on a work detail like this, surely you'd spare some simple armor to protect them from bites and such. I mean, you might be punishing like a brain surgeon or something, or at least in Eugene's case, an incredibly intelligent and useful guy. You really not gonna give them some stormtrooper shizzle to stop a stupid walker grabbing them in a house and ruining their future usefulness purely so you can punish them for something? I doubt it.
Mustard first.
Eugene! Who the hell? Eugene!
Extremely rude.
You have no idea who you're talking to.
Eugene!
Oh, I think I do.
As opposed to using any other words at all. I mean, at this point she's reading a book.
You're part of the new group that came in, right?
Yeah, I guess. I haven't seen my friends in a few days, so...
If you're not being secretive just in case by mentioning they're your friends, then why bother to answer the first question with an I guess?
I'm ready. Please.
Gotta give props to his skill shooting her straight on, but managing to put the bolt in the back of her head.
You've had a hell of a lot to say.
Pope temporarily turns into a walker before snapping out of it.
You've had a hell.
And randomly pause after entering for dramatic effect.
Pope says God chose us. You believe all that?
Look, I know how it sounds. But when we had nothing, he gave us something to hold on to. We're all alive because we believed in him.
That's not an answer to the question.
Here, need to go.
Well, she weren't breaking that like that. This This dude is amazing at killing people. He knows you gotta keep slightly slamming them into a wall. Just a little bit though, not too much. I tell you, he must have got his trade secrets from the UFC. They do the same thing. Lots of light pushing into the fence. Don't bother with fists and all that nonsense. Also though, one irritatingly ineffective way to go about trying to murder her, holding her head out in the off chance that one of those things might actually hit her.
Sorry, boss. Put a scorch in there. Might be time to call it off.
No. Just gotta try something else.
I really wish they'd fix their audio. I can hardly hear what they're saying half the time, and then 25% of the other half of the time I'm mishearing it and it sounds like nonsense. Like, bruh, why you gotta turn up effects like rain 180% and then turn down dialogue to 4%?
Zach.
Grace, it's an emergency signal.
And why did she wait so long to use it? Basement flooding ninja walker. They come out of nowhere and they grab your leg. They make no sense because they come out of nowhere. Basement flooding ninja walker. Thank God this walker is just a nonce who's happy to hold onto a kid's leg rather than being a zombie and biting it. Lucky little kid. Lucky little kid whose name I've forgotten the show, different walker, is also a nonce. They must have been part of a nearby prison or something. Tons of noncy nonces, but two very lucky little annoying kids. Such a stupidly needless move when you're fighting for your life.
The woman.
Fine.
That makes no sense at all. Like, I get releasing him to save Maggie, it's dumb, but whatever, but then removing the bindings from him without being asked to, seemingly as a nice little gesture, is plain old weird.
Could have had a second chance. Go. Go before I change my mind.
He says, go before I change my mind, even though it was his plan to let them leave. They disarmed and agreed to go, and then Maggie chased after them and shot them, to which he was pissed off, but now he's saying, go before I change my mind, like he got wronged in that situation.
We gotta go. We have a lot to do before the masquerade ball, so...
See you later.
Seriously, talk more quietly. Also, I gotta say, they better be hitting me up with some intrigue and soon, because otherwise this is going to get even more boring than it already was incredibly fast.
You mind if I go with Espinosa? We make a good team.
Did I ask for your opinion?
Wasn't really an opinion, it was a request followed up with a small fact, but not really an opinion. Seems to be the height of pointless to have guards standing right there the entire way around the house, and yet when people are really struggling, they just watch. I mean, not one of them even moved a muscle, so pointless. It's amazing to me that all these people are armed with a knife and yet get into a grappling contest on every single occasion so far during this little test. I mean, even Atrajus Eater, who's been knocking off zombies left, right and centre with unrealistic ease all these years, is like, hell no, not going knife first, let's wrestle! I'm going to avoid showing it, but she opted to rip a walker's leg off, then stab it with the bone.
Bullshit.
Then the one time they do choose to take a shot, it's when the guy isn't really even at risk all that much, like he's holding it away with his leg, plus he was right nearby ready to come to him. Wine Basement Ninja Walker!
You're used to handling things on your own, I get that. But that's not how it works around here. Sometimes we have to set each other up to win.
Really odd lesson to be teaching after helping someone else in need. Kind of backwards. You need to be a team player. By letting someone on your team almost get bitten.
I'll give you a decent life if you can cut it. And I want you to succeed.
Gotta get out of your own damn way.
He says get out your own damn way after he volunteered to do this silly team fighting exercise, essentially passed it. It was extremely debatable that he failed that, but whatever. And then no one tells him not to step in. So he steps in and suddenly he's only out for himself, getting in his own way to success. Like, bruh, if you want to portray that, maybe don't skip so far ahead. Show a little something. What's he been doing that's so bad?
Shame. My kids don't even know what mango is.
Well, maybe they'll have some one day.
My kid? Not anytime soon.
Do you maybe want to explain why specifically your kids wouldn't?
Want some wine? We hear it's really good.
Thank you.
Ah, thank God she's still in the show, though.
I hope you're enjoying the festivities.
It's such an eventful day.
Am I going crazy? Or did this girl not exist for many, many years without being able to hear and without people knowing sign language? I thought she read lips. She's been doing it for ages, and now she needs a constant sign language translator.
I see you're hurting, and I want to fix that. But first, you have to promise not to hurt anyone else.
Anyone else? He hasn't hurt a first person yet, unless you're weirdly counting the painting of that old dude.
Didn't you hear what he said?
Yeah, that there were others. What do you think he meant by that?
Just a wild stab in the dark, likely 100 miles off base, but maybe that there are others.
But for what it's worth, I believe him. This place is like a city from before. You remember?
Yeah, I do.
What you're doing. This?
Hats off to them, they managed to make it about class. Only these people could go from starving and fighting for their lives every day for years upon years to having safety, food and work, and then after 30 days start whining.
Do you love her?
A strong affirmative. And she has said that she reciprocates.
Then relax. I'm serious.
Oh dear Lord, I'm bored. I know that might sound like a weird thing to sin, but whilst I'm here watching this and writing the script, I'm fucking bored, bro, and I had to say it.
We have a statement from his doctors backing up his PTSD claim.
Come on. I don't trust the military doctors any more than I trust the military.
You've been there for 33 fucking days. She's been there for just over a month, has a job, clearly is doing well for herself, somehow, and yet stands there making weird-ass cringy remarks like, I don't trust the military doctors any more than I trust the military. Have they had many dealings with you since they welcomed you in and kept you safe and fed your ass every day, have they? Were they very negative? If so, show me! Wanna clue us in, mate?
He said wait for recon first. Alright.
Yeah, I'm in a giving mood. Take another one.
There were no city service carts on the street that night, nor was he wearing any sort of identifying uniform or carrying any tools. I found it very peculiar that the one person I knew was there the night she disappeared happened to have such a flimsy alibi. So I started calling.
What the hell? Get your hands off of me!
Get her an Oscar and then let Will Smith smack the shit out of her for acting like that.
Hey, there they are. That's them.
For some unknown reason, Eugene had a lovely big old smile on his face up to and including the old woman coming around the corner with the soldiers, and then is like, oh noes!
Dude! None of this is happening. Stephanie broke up with you.
Yeah, makes total sense. So desperate was she to no longer date him, she left the safety of the city walls to become a nomad?
Stephanie's work transfer order. Moving guys literally came and took her furniture.
Yeah, but like, okay, where is she though? Or is this place like legit the size of New York City? But even then it wouldn't make much sense. Leaving your job and literally no one knows where you've gone? That's not a logical thing.
I know Howard Field.
I know Howard Field?
I know Howard Field.
Don't know how I feel?
I know Howard Field.
I know how it filled? course, if you ask nicely, I'll give you one more. I'm not a jerk, you silly goose, you.
I'm gonna make absolutely certain that everybody knows exactly who and what you are.
And that's the thing you wouldn't say, because he could just quite easily have you killed right now. Instead, you keep your mouth shut, and then hopefully if all goes well, you spill the beans. But hey ho, he's a moron.
Calling herself Stephanie. Using my words. My voice.
I'm pretty sure she wasn't using your voice. She probably just naturally sounds fairly similar.
I've met so many communities and I still can't figure out what makes some lucky and able to fight off the world while others can't.
Just putting it out there, I'd say it's likely to do with walls, able-bodied men and women, ability to produce and store food and water, and access to weapons. But what do I know?
Waiting for treatment. Same as me.
You're supposed to just die because the system is broken?
Not being funny, I'm 100% on their side. You do what you can to save those close to you. That's life. But to say the system is broken is kind of stupid. Like, they have a list. He just proved that by saying the hospital is full of sick people just like him. So how is it broken to use a list to save people's lives in an order?
The communities that we built are fair.
The Commonwealth is fair.
Yeah, but you drive a nicer car and live in a nicer house than everybody else.
Maggie acting like she wasn't living in the mansion at Hilltop for years whilst people lived in those trailers on the outside.
I know there's a lot to consider, but I mean, look around. We need this.
Yeah, you really look to be struggling for food. Bless your heart, 2 pheasants was the most food you'd seen in a week, and just sharing that. Where's your secret stash at, girl?
After all that time we spent together, everything we told each other, how could you not know it wasn't me?
I don't know.
She's the one who said herself earlier on that she was using her words, her voice, and now she's like, how didn't you know? Maybe you could have mentioned your race. That would have made the ruse extremely hard to pull off with the white girl. I don't know.
How can I make this up to you? Will you allow me to try?
I don't know.
Can I just say as well, she's acting proper hard done by. Like, she also ignored him. She could have reached out dozens of times and didn't, and now she's the victim all of a sudden.
Bullshit.
See your shot. You need an escort?
Bruh, stop using terms from way after the world ended. Next episode they're going to be laughing at memes of Will Smith.
You gotta go.
I literally couldn't hear what he said.
And I helped. I'm not letting it happen to someone else.
So you're not leaving?
I am. I have to help these people first.
Something that really pisses me off about this show is that everyone is always so damn moral over people they don't even know. She has no clue who that dude was, who his people are, yet now it's her life's mission to go help them out. Help them out how? I have no idea. She's got no food and resources, but hey ho, go stand near them with a supportive arm on their shoulder, I guess?
How long this time?
What do I always tell you?
It's none of my fucking business.
That's right. What would you have done?
Asked everyone what they wanted.
Maggie's straight up gonna kill everyone. She keeps taking her eyes off the road for 5 seconds at a time, like a lot happens in 5 seconds. Maggie also does an amazing job of stabbing him through his stormtrooper helmet.
It's Aaron.
Well, that was an awkwardly long delay. Did you think it was maybe his clone?
1512, Christ speaks of a rich father's wayward son that selfishly set off to distant lands.
This goes on for quite some time.
We come from a community called the Commonwealth. We'd like to extend our friendship.
How did they manage to paint the cross on the building, though? Amazing that she found a seemingly infinite stock of nail varnish to keep up the irritating 4'10" wannabe scary persona she's got going on. In this circumstance, why wouldn't you possibly just have the conversation outside? There's no logical reason at this stage to head inside when you're totally outmanned and you might not be able to call in help. Plus, if you remain outside, you can have a friendly chat alongside keeping your weapons. If things go well, then you can maybe think about doing this. But doing it right now is so stupid it's not even funny within the parameters of their ruse because it makes no sense.
There's no way Milton doesn't notice. What happened, Lance? This seems like quite the misfire, Lance. No. I need a surgical solution.
Okay, so now I understand, but it makes no sense whatsoever to choose to involve one arm and one eye in the plan. Like, why take them along? To witness what they very much hope will turn into a bloodbath? This is on top of spending seemingly months pouring manpower and resources into making them trust you. All to blow it all and become the bad guys over some guns that you felt the need to involve them in?
That's on me. I need to make it right.
Okay. Okay. What are you thinking?
So they threaten each other. I'll take away your cushy life. Oh yeah, do you want to die? Then he goes, most of those troopers were kids. I have to make this right. And suddenly he's all in on the bloody plan.
Hey! Stop! Stop!
There's the priest in season 10. If you capture someone, cut off their fingers till they tell you what you want to know. Here's the same guy who stabbed an unarmed priest just 4 episodes ago, and now he's suddenly the moral compass of the group once again, just out of the blue. Suddenly one arm is the same. They all grew a massive halo out of nowhere and I can't remember when it formed above their holy heads. But it's okay to smash the face in of a soldier following orders or to save a dude on a horse he doesn't know.
I turned my back for 1 goddamn minute!
Yeah, but how are you gonna cheesecake stab his head when he's wearing a damn helmet?
What all the Commonwealth want with all those guns?
Okay, so firstly, you have no idea how many guns there were. All we've heard is that it was part of a shipment, so that's a dumb question. Secondly, they have a city of 50,000 people. Isn't it logical they'd need a lot of guns, or need a lot of guns to be moved around to different outposts or whatever?
New power for the lock.
What? Behind you.
As though she wouldn't be able to hear them.
We'll go find a generator.
It's all right, just hang on, okay? What's your name?
My name's April.
You know, I gotta say, it's really not much of a safe room if you can pretty much whisper and be heard on the other side of it.
I left because I gave a shit. I left because that's what everyone needed, right?
And you find them? And your... What is she to you?
And your fortune you?
And your... What is she to you?
And your fortune you?
And your... What is she to you?
And your fortune you?
The place we're living now is different from any place we've ever seen.
No, it isn't. I hope that they might be, but they just want to swallow up other communities.
Well, now you're just talking out your ass, aren't you? Because you're talking with zero knowledge. Like, she's right, annoyingly, but she doesn't know that, and to be fair, she's not really 100%, even though the show will make her all of that 100% correct, because it's a city of 50,000 people. They're not all in on it, bruh.
They're like the Whisperers, they just wear different masks.
I know they're trying something poetic there, but it really doesn't land. One group walked around in walker skin masks, tormenting everyone they came across. The others basically live old world lives to the letter. There's a massive difference, and you can't just paint them as the same because currently a group of like 10 to 15 of them are acting like bellends. Basement generator room ninja walker! They come out of nowhere and attack you real quick. They make no sense because they don't react to sound. Basement generator room ninja walker!
Oh god. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Seems like an incredibly dumb idea to shut that door behind you when you have no idea how much juice is left in the generator, and when it runs out, you'd be locked in there for good. It never ceases to amaze me when they play off like they're in trouble. We'll spread their blood and then sneak out past them. But then when the shit hits the fan, it takes about 9 seconds and they've slaughtered the entire room. Why not just do that at the start?
What did he say to you?
You're part robot.
That's it. You got me.
That's a weird thing to say.
Daryl and I to steal cash from an abandoned house outside the perimeter. There was a woman there. They had done this before. They had sent civilians in, and none of them...
She's signing while she's not even looking at her.
Good.
And I'll make sure RJ gets to his classes on time tonight.
Oh, you better.
You know one general sin I've never raised? This big happy community is just a little bit too big and happy in issue 3. One huge deal in this universe is that when people die, they turn. But that's seemingly never a problem here. I get in smaller communities, but in ones this large, where someone might have a stroke, die of old age, or have an accident and die and then turn, it seems odd that never happens. It's just a completely safe and functioning city by all accounts.
To your teachers, huh?
This kid's metal arm is acting up again.
People have died. More are missing. Your brother can corroborate.
Michael?
No.
Not yours.
I'm not a little kid anymore, Mike.
Says the little girl who almost got caught on the radio a few months.
He needs to decide if his arms are up top ready to do another exercise or down below leaning on the equipment. It can't be both, bruh.
He doesn't exactly trust me, you know.
But I'm starting to.
They can actually have a very rare sin-off here, and that's for some decent character building on Maggie. Like, there may have been a temptation to turn her around on Negan super quick, but instead it took a very, very long time, as it would. So yeah, I like that. Props to them.
And when this world fell...
This walker on the left is so confused. Oh, pretend I'm eating him, even though he's clearly wearing armor?
Ah, you never stop. We're working. Hey. You just... Oh, God, I mean, you even take it home with you.
No, that's... I got it. It's okay. That's fine.
We can recover any of their weapons, follow the trail back to their camp, and then we end this.
On it. You ready, bud? As ever.
Why they just happily assume that everyone who entered their compound is dead, I have no idea. I mean, they easily could have spread out, but they just think everyone who entered all crowded into the house alone.
Leah. I think we should split up, cover more ground.
So he thinks that his former special ops ex-girlfriend is out there, and his advice is to split up from the half-blind priest and the one-armed man.
Go, please. I'll lead Leah and the others away.
They forgot to put some blood on their stick.
And hang it around Pamela's neck.
I mean, when everyone finds out that she's not on their side, they're gonna question everything about this place.
What are you actually signing, though? She's reading her lips. She's not even watching her hands.
It's the aforementioned Brazen.
No, hey, it's okay.
She's deaf, yet she reacts at literally the exact same time as everyone else to a knock on the door. I mean, they were synchronized like crazy. I get how you gotta do it this way, you want to do a first-person kind of view, but it's so dumb, because it only works if peripheral vision wasn't a thing, which it sadly is for her.
Investment in 1 year.
What bullshit?
You know, it never ceases to amaze me just how terrible we're supposed to believe they all are with knives. I mean, they love their giant overarm swings with the blades. They can't use them as intended, straight shots, because then it'd be over fairly quickly. Because why deliver an easy killing blow to your enemy when you can slightly knee her instead?
Fan out. Check every window, doorway, stairway, and hallway.
So not the rooms then, no? Just literally every other part of the building aside from the rooms and the roof and basement? Daryl has a more than clear view of the hallway from his position, and she is staring into his eyes, and yet clearly he doesn't give her any sign that it's friendlies rounding the corner, which might have led to One Eye getting cheesecake to the head.
And if he has his people go after our families in the meantime? Carol's there. So is Rosita, Jerry, Ezekiel. We have to hope they can handle it.
We gotta hope that those 4 people can take on an army coming after our families. I mean, this is The Walking Dead. Every main character is automatically worth 100 extras. So I laugh, but it could be done.
Get this over with.
Seems like a really odd choice to keep your weapons in the rear of the car where it's just straight up harder to get to it. There's a reason why US police keep them on them or in the center behind them. And I'm not just talking about walkers, I'm talking about an ambush. You don't want to have to go into the back to arm up. Street ninja walkers, they walk on right up to you and somehow grab you. It's not even stuff anymore because it's in plain sight. Street ninja walkers. He gets shot in the shoulder about 60 seconds ago and now is perfectly capable of using his arm for a nice big old full range of motion. It's almost like he wasn't really shot at all.
Bullshit.
We want justice! We want justice!
Yeah, we want justice now. We want justice now. You tell them, guys.
I don't want to leave. These people need our help.
I tell you, I'm so bored of their savior attitude to everything.
You, I will find the real culprits and bring them to justice.
Hey, Walking Dead! Psst! You forgot to play our voice outside during that whole conversation. Couldn't hear it at all like we could at the start, you silly forgetful goose, you.
We got rules here. Oh, rules. Right. Well, if no one else is playing by those rules, then why are you?
This plays as an impactful statement to him for some reason, because as far as he is aware, they are safe right now and everyone is playing by the rules or the law. So he has no reason to be won over by an argument that right now isn't based on reality in any way. Literally everyone is fine right now.
My dad's a good cook wherever he is.
Weird brag, but okay.
Alright, you guys get up. We gotta move.
But breakfast.
No, we'll come back later.
One would think that with all of her prior experience of dealing with horrific situations and danger around every corner, that when told, in all seriousness, to get ready to move, she wouldn't be like, but breakfast! Lingon still leaning.
From Hornsby as follows.
Their plans are always so dumb, he could have easily gotten his message out there. Could have easily fired on her, but wait. They're just lucky all the time. Thick plot armor.
I mean, this doesn't seem like the kind of place that you can just stroll out the front gate hand in hand.
That's why me and you are gonna go try to get some insurance.
That's why we need you and your train for some insurance?
That's why me and you are gonna go try to get some insurance.
That's why we need Yuriko Transit in insurance? I love guessing what they're saying.
And if things go bad here, I want a strong exit plan for you guys. You guys? Come on, Magna. You know I can't leave Tommy.
If the time comes to go, then we're all going. Even if I have to drag you and Tommy along.
You're so stubborn.
Says the woman who just got finished saying that she refuses to leave without her brother. Dude literally could have caught them if he wasn't so passionate about only moving directly forwards in his life and never going around things. But hey, who am I to judge?
Hi. Anything?
That's edited so poorly, he wasn't even fully in view yet and he's calling out to him.
Not without them spotting us.
Unless they never see us coming.
Imagine being this cringe in real life that you don't tell them your plan, you just kind of look off into the distance at the road, confusing everyone. Just all nice and confusing like. Yeah, just really, really in plain view, right in front of the guy. What was he even doing up there that caused all of that stuff to fall down? Was he like randomly grabbing his foot along the edge?
Found him! Sebastian's here! He's over here!
You guys go, I'll take care of this.
I found him!
Whoa.
You are mistaken.
Soldier approaching these two, and even though one of them is yelling about having found the kid and the soldier is meant to be on their side, he just randomly attacks Negan after he's already been attacked.
This is for your own protection! Just shut the hell up and listen for a second!
Might be more convincing if you weren't using a very loud megaphone when there's a horde nearby. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why you'd make a fuss about people being out in the streets at that time.
Fine. Clear them.
My god, this story could be so incredibly stupid. They all just stand around there and get gassed. Then I'm wondering why they'd do that when the walkers are so close to the walls you can literally hear them, and yet you make everyone scream by pelting them with gas. It's so dumb. How did you manage to do that? As opposed to using your weapon to help. Meanwhile, when he got shot, didn't really care.
How many of my men have you gotten killed?
Oh, Mercer. I thought you realized by now. They're not your men.
Don't really understand this statement when you're in cuffs and they're following his orders.
Hey. Back's all set. I'll grab us some water.
Yeah, we get it. It's interracial couple number 174. In this universe, only about 3% of humans fancy people of their own race.
Even if I didn't know what was really going on, I definitely knew Sebastian was bad news, and I just went along with it. You don't know what it's like to feel that kind of guilt.
Oddly baseless assumption.
Well, well, well. How the turntables.
This for all the times I got you out of a cell?
I'm a mite surprised you're not able to do the same for yourself.
Who says I'm not?
The fact that you're in there?
Stand down! Stand down!
You gotta love how, when they're looking for him, they tracked him down like they were bloodhounds, but now they're after him, and because he wants to get at her, everyone just ignores him now. When you save your tasty treat literally for upcoming symbolism purposes.
You're supposed to protect me!
My job is to protect the Commonwealth now.
When you're so very dedicated to trying to throw garbage at her that you miss the fact that there are loads of walkers fairly close to you now, and everyone behind you is screaming, and you're like, no! I got my half-drunk milkshake, and I got her head as my target! Screw the walkers eating people behind me, they can wait! Also though, the idea that these walkers going so slow, as always, manage to catch anyone unawares. They're so slow, and it's an open area, yet they managed to nab like 7 people already. Also, take a sin here for the final time for this, because over the years, I've had people say to me, when someone is only newly affected by the virus, that's why they ran and were semi-smart in Season 1. Yet here, they've only just turned, and they're slow as hell. One final sin for that. Clearly fully capable of getting up. Oh no, that's the worst one I've ever seen. He's so clearly able to get up. He even knocks her off and then just stays there, laying down. Help! That's terrible. That's 2 max sins, that is. The mere idea that you'd ever have this much of an issue in the streets when it's like 12 walkers at the start and you've got guys with guns everywhere, dude. They would literally sort it out in like 60 seconds. That's so strange, bro. Originally, he was a high-up worker there, and now he's all like, "Mummy, I need you." I'm sorry, if you want to sell that, don't visibly show her thumb relax. Where's the pressure coming from? Also, let's be real, that isn't hurting. If anything, it's probably a little nice. Before this, she scored a beautiful headshot, but with this dude afterwards, she's like, nah, to the body pointlessly will do me. But then, even worse than this, she then draws a knife and stabs it in the shoulder instead of its very exposed head. There's only the 3 of them up there now, no walkers, yet this dude in the mask decides to keep on acting as though he's a walker, moving very slowly, making lots of noise, instead of taking them out silently. Oh, well okay, colour me impressed. That was a walker, what the hell? Okay, this got more interesting, and I'm removing the last 2 sins for that, as they can both be explained away. TV and movies still trying to make us think that a £140 woman can take on 2 £200 fully grown men in a fight for more than half a second.
Some more food to take to meet up with the others. I left you some sesame bagels in the back if you think you might like those.
They literally nab dreadlocks without making a single sound. Like, no enemy in The Walking Dead has working arms. They never naturally bring them up, like when you're attacked. It's down by the sides or nothing.
There's no threat. Right now, I'm the biggest threat you have. I suggest you say goodbye to your guests and tell me what the hell's going on. I'm not leaving until you do.
Oh, it's so damn cringy. Like, in reality, in this situation, I don't know why she'd think she has so much power. It can all be taken away in moments, and yet she's that confident. It's awful. I hate the writing.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to prepare for a press conference announcing your intent to prosecute Mr. Porter. Don't be late.
Yeah, but I'm the biggest threat you have right now, and I'm not leaving. I tell you, it's more soap opera TV than realistic styled horror. It's only gotten worse and worse over the years.
Go, get him out.
Personally, I'm just glad Daryl already completed the game and thus unlocked the infinite ammo machine gun.
Where are we going?
I told you, I'd take you there.
Funny enough, that's not an answer to the question.
Drop your weapons!
Theatrics always winning over realism. Might look cool, but why would you throw the lights on and then raise your weapons when you know full well that's the 2 people you're looking for? She would have had to have notched the arrow from a relaxed arms position down by her sides and then fire it accurately within under 2 seconds flat.
Bullshit.
Ooh, very fortuitous guard falling into a coma during the trip. Maggie is strong enough to straight up yeet a fully grown man out the back of a truck. Maggie also escapes essentially completely unharmed from this crash.
Hey! 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 Over here!
This just made me laugh for some reason. Not sure why he went about it this way. Seems a little odd.
We knock on the door and say, can we see our daughter, please?
Do you have a better idea? I'm all ears.
I've long been awaiting the grand return of Achatruzito I, and here she is after all this time! Welcome back! Literally, forest ninja walkers. They jump out of nowhere and attack you real quick. They make no sense because they make absolutely zero sound. Literally, forest ninja walkers.
What is it?
My arm is dislocated.
Well, it would be after that extremely light shove just now. I mean, he barely touched you. I'm shocked you're not dead.
Pull it up. Okay. You're gonna have to put your leg right here. Right here. Come on.
Well, you might want to say foot and not leg for one thing. Dude has clearly never done this before and you're rushing him through something that, if it's done slightly wrong, will not aid you and will cause lots of pain.
Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2.
Yeah, do what on the count of 3, you moron? You said pull your arm up, he did that. You said put your leg here instead of foot, and somehow he knew to randomly put his shoe on the side of your tit. Like he's gonna get any leverage from doing that either, by the way. But then you don't follow up with instructions, you just start counting. The last instruction she gives is, you're gonna have to pull it up, and he somehow ends up pushing down visibly, and amazingly it all just works out.
You need to rest.
We're out of here. Do what?
Torture yourself. What good does it do? What do you tell me when I beat myself up? Quit bitching and move forward. Okay? Just take a breath.
Seems an odd time to bring that up when she literally wants to keep moving and you're telling her to rest though, dude.
Is that a train?
Can't be a train.
Dude has seen all kinds of things that the Commonwealth has got up and running, but the idea of a train, something fairly easy to find in working order and run when you think about it, is a step too far for his brain. Oh, very fortuitous guard just happening to stop right there.
We heard a train. Did you hear a train?
He's so stuck on trains. How did you find a train? How do tracks work? What makes them move and go woo woo? I don't know. Have you seen a train yourself? You haven't answered me yet. Carol has also unlocked the infinite ammo machine gun.
We don't know.
Not that that is at all pertinent to the situation at hand. Kelly and the others are being held at a camp. You don't know where the camp is? No, we don't right now. Yeah, but Kelly is there. She's scared and I can't lose her. Okay, but that doesn't really matter right now, does it? We don't know where it is, you dingbat.
We are gonna get our kids, take back our home, and make it right. And Pamela's never gonna see it coming.
Who the hell pauses for effect for like 15 very long and awkward seconds? If I was Daryl, I'd be like,
we are gonna get our kids, take back our home, and make it right.
Can I talk yet? Or has this sentence got an end that's coming? Because I gotta pee? Do I wait?
And Pamela's
oh,
never
she's
gonna
talking.
See it coming.
He took me into the morgue where Sebastian was. All I wanted was to hold my son, keep him safe, but he was gone.
Why is this being told in a court when it doesn't pertain to a crime, though?
That wasn't my son. I know my son's voice, and that wasn't him. The tape was altered.
Hold up a minute. How can it both be literally not him and his voice speaking, but at the same time be altered? You wouldn't need to alter it if it wasn't him, would you?
Someone altered your son's voice. Not someone, counselor. Your client. This enemy of the state.
You'd think being a lawyer should point out how difficult it is to alter a cassette tape, or you just go and look at the tape and see if it's been edited, and if it's gone missing, you can point that out. But why do that when you can awkwardly look at her instead?
Tyler, we know you stood up to Pamela. You want out of here as much as we do.
I want to live.
You know what's funny? In the last episode, they made out like they weren't even being allowed to speak to one another. But by God, if they haven't been allowed to chat in literally every scene since.
Your transfer's been denied.
My brother's been very sick. I don't
know how long he has.
Then you should have told me directly instead of going around me to ask for a transfer.
It is the height of hilarious that this conversation had to happen right now of all times. Right in front of a prisoner.
Yeah.
They're closing in.
We can't outrun them.
Oh, you don't say, mate! You can't outrun them on foot with a weighed down carriage pulled by a horse on an uneven dirt road whilst they're on bikes and in cars? Nah, mate!
What are you doing? I don't know.
Clearly, absolutely no one was even watching the 30 or so prisoners standing right behind them.
Where the hell is she?
I gotta say, Achijuzita the First has some serious strength considering her tiny, tiny frame.
And me? Well, I guess I'm a Grimes too.
What do you mean, I guess? You literally are one, you flid.
Let's go! Come on now!
She says with pure Achijuzita tootness, having only just arrived herself.
We don't need the others.
Not a we.
Kinda ironic to say that after specifically using the word we're.
I need you here.
That's crap. This isn't the future my brother wanted. Not what my mom and dad fought for. Not yet. What we're doing could help everyone. Just us, but maybe everybody everywhere. I want to be part of that.
She's gonna get taken along in spite of this literally being nonsense. He doesn't want a 9-year-old with a gun bringing this thing to a close, and she's saying, no way, this isn't the world my brother and dad wanted. We can make a difference. I want to see this through. Like, shut up, girl. You're 4 years old. Go sit down. Also though, one thing that bugs me is the character arc. She was turned into a normal little girl, drawing and stuff, and just 5 minutes ago, when told, quick, take cover, she's like, yeah, but what about my pancakes? So yeah, let's definitely have a scene where this little girl goes into bloody combat.
We've all been so focused on what's right in front of us for so long. You're thinking about what's after.
All right, you stay right with me, okay?
How the hell does that equal? Let's take her into combat against an army, though. Yeah, she makes a beautiful argument coming along, Daryl, because she thinks about school and stuff after the war. Yeah, come along. What?
Sorry for what happened.
Thank you, but I don't have time for your sorry, so I'm trying to get in contact with the guy who can help us.
I never understand this. If you're that busy, then you most certainly don't have time to say all of that other stuff right afterwards, which takes way longer than saying thanks or don't worry, we're cool.
Carl, too?
You two are a lot alike.
He died saving people.
No, he was really annoying too.
Dude! Stop!
I can't lose him, please.
I can't lose him! We've been in love for an entire episode! Aside from that brief argument recently, but other than that, we're so in love! You don't get it! It's been multiple days of being in love! These guys only really have one job, and that's ensuring that they're looking behind them and leading the walkers, and yet don't even notice one get into the back.
What the hell happened?
I also find it funny how they always have the time to use the radio during a crisis to quickly mumble some stuff like, oh no, it's all going wrong, and then it cuts off. Like, why are you using the damn radio when there's something bad happening? It's one walker, just pick up your gun, not your radio, bruh. This entire scene, thousands of rounds are fired collectively, and not a single person is shown to be reloading their gun. Everyone has infinite ammo machine guns.
Whoops, whoopsie.
Also though, I find the notion that she of all people picked up a gun and started shooting at them absolutely hilarious.
No.
Two sins here. Firstly, it seems incredibly stupid to place the gate opening lever outside of the wall. Who the hell does that? Yes, historically walkers cannot climb, but intruders looking to get in absolutely can. Secondly, as much as I like the whole walkers can climb and use tools thing as mentioned in the last video, I find it highly unlikely that they're now everywhere. There's like 4 in this crowd alone.
fine.
Daryl, no, you're not.
Didn't she know? Daryl is far too cool to bleed. He just wills his wounds shut, like a badass would.
Get back and cover your head!
I'm clear!
Well now, they didn't even give him a full 1 second after he yelled that he's clear to blow the door off. In fact, they did it so fast he almost wasn't entirely clear. Also though, what did they blow the door off with mere seconds after taking out the walker in front of the door?
Wait!
Thank God he used his X-ray vision and noticed that his mates were about to turn the corner. Also though, mildly strange that he decided to only point the gun after a whole bunch of walkers had already passed, right at the moment their friends would be coming into view.
Thank God. You alright?
They've had to cover themselves in all manner of nasty stuff in order to go undetected, and he just runs up to them whilst the walkers are seriously close by, yelling and being all human-like. Like, bruh, I just had to walk in their blood for 6 miles staying dead quiet, and turns out they couldn't even tell you were a human? I've literally never seen thicker plot armor in my entire life. Not so thick after all. Okay, I'll remove that last one.
You may not think this place is worth saving, and I get that, given how they treated us. But it's worth it.
Actually, by all accounts, most of the people treated you completely fine. It was just them at the very top being typically evil. Also, it's not always just about the people. There's safety there too. Infrastructure, food making capabilities, and so on.
Hold the line!
They've got loads of people with loads of guns and yet decide to go melee style to clean up the streets.
Let's get that fuel down in the sewers. We're only gonna have one shot at this.
I don't understand why any reasonable person would deal with the issue in this way, wasting so much precious fuel when you've got loads of people with loads of guns. I don't know. So not only did they want to waste so much fuel, they also wanted to destroy their most expensive and well-kept houses at the same time. Oh, very CGI. I love Rick, but that throw and the bag was extremely CGI. Why not let the man throw a real damn bag into a real damn boat? Like, I get it. You want to squeeze money out of this thing. It's an end, but not really an end. I think Rick deserved a proper ending, but like I said, I do get it. That's just a final sin from me. Well, that wraps up 11 long series of The Walking Dead. I've been sending the show since February 2017 on my old channel that I stupidly lost access to when I cleared my cookies one day, like a moron. So it's weird for me. It's a long journey. Almost 6 years. That's insane. But I'm glad to have done it. I've enjoyed your comments over the years, and hopefully I gave many of you a great many laughs with my sins, my songs, my impressions and my jokes. Thanks for watching with me, and hey, if this series does well on the channel, I'll definitely look at covering their other shows, like continuing on with Fear the Walking Dead's 2nd season and so on. Thanks again, guys and gals. See you out there. Chris Harris, Lifty, Corey Bosch, Hinakami and Water, Manuel Morales, Marquez, Nick Wyndham, Warkeeper, Steelers, The Ever Commander, Eaglitz, Word Without a Word, Blitzcloud, Brandon Kriya, Deliverance, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Kate 2000, Jessica Start, Kapan, Comfreak, Magnus, Nathan Burr, Red Moon, Sean, Sebastian Ramirez, Wesley Tarbuck, Wiccan Faye, Andy 50, Clear Lonely Jellyfish, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Guru, Israel Caldera, Yuan Edvinson, Jonas Starr, Jordan Samuels, Jaffa 6263, Kieran Robinson, Keldnock, Kevin Melter, Quinito, Laxus, Luis Cruz, Matthew Blanchett, 1928, Oliver Spy Reacts, Saint Flo 25, Sentimento, Storm 970, The Element Taylor Wars.